The first fight was an unexpected thriller, both guys going at it. Hasegawa rising up to the occasion to end the fight off for a 12-round upset decision for Izumi Hasegawa, dethroning the long-reigning Bantamweight champion 46-1 Vito Sahaprom, who seemed almost indestructible at that time. The rematch being just as competitive and unexpected as the first fight, the inexperienced Hasegawa really grew into the title he earned earlier that last year, showing off great skills against a former champion who had fought 5 times in an 8-month span for preparations in this rematch. As Sahaprom began to tighten up the scorecards in the back half of the fight, coming into the first 10 seconds of the 9th round, the absolute unexpected happened to end this rivalry. The first fight being an incredibly close battle ending in a draw. The second taking right after the first, being a memorable sequel of both fighters displaying amazing skills in the ring.
Right, George? Once you have respect, you do have respect. And you'd better be ready. In the McCallum favor. Toney landing a left hand and a right hand remaining in the round. Good right hand.
Unfortunately, as close as the rematch was, the scorecards were grossly questionable as 2 of the judges gave Toney a wide lead. Only one honest judge scored the fight a draw.
Toney with the right uppercut. McCallum lands a left and a right inside. The 2 fighters trading solid punches as we come down the stretch in round number 4. Right hand over the top by McCallum landing. And Mike just misses with the solid right cross that would have done some damage. Uppercuts inside for Toney land.
The rematch exceeded expectations. Lopez at the beginning of the fight was looking like a shot fighter, not throwing with confidence, just overall looked discouraged, till he landed a sneaky counter that left Salido hurt bad.
That's the end of the round. Yeah, one man now. Starting to get his machismo back. It's been gone.
Knocking him down. Lopez flipped a switch and was looking like the Lopez of old. I'm not going to go too in on this. I personally recommend everyone to go watch. This was really a fight everyone wanted to see when Moreno held the WBA Bantamweight title. Yamanaka was ranked number 1 and Moreno was ranked number 2. Unfortunately, before any talks of such a fight can be made, Moreno was dethroned by Pacquiao. The first fight was not really enough to write home about. Incredibly close technical bout which ended in a split decision victory for Yamanaka. Moreno felt like he won and pressed for a rematch, but since he jumped from the WBA to the WBC, he needed to pick up rank again within that organization. Moreno, his next fight, would beat Yamanaka's mandatory opponent, Surian Sor Rungvisai, for the WBC silver title, now becoming Yamanaka's mandatory opponent. Yamanaka had to get past Solis, and thanks to Father Time, number 2 ranked Juan Carlos Payano got dethroned and lost his rank, resulting in Moreno to regain his number 2 position at Bantamweight. So now we got a big rematch for not only the WBC title, but the lineal Bantamweight title. Like I stated earlier, the first fight was not a good fight. The second is literally night and day, a complete nail biter. Yamanaka had not looked good in a couple fights, starts incredibly fast, dropping Moreno at the end of the first round. After a Yamanaka second round, Moreno would get his feet back and begin evening things up, landing big on Yamanaka. Both guys throwing absolute bombs on each other. The fourth round seemed to be going into Yamanaka's favor till Moreno caught him with a beautiful right hook, flooring Shinsuke. Moreno would end the round off big, landing at a high percentage. The next round being as even as it gets. Sixth round, both guys seem to be fatigued, but Yamanaka seems to be getting closer with his straight left hand. Then at the 2-minute mark, Shinsuke threw one of the best straight lefts in his career, dropping Moreno for the second time in the fight. Shinsuke thinking the fight is over, Moreno was able to not only get back up but survive the round. Moreno's legs not fully back yet, but he's banking on landing a counter on Yamanaka. Just falls inches and a split second short of flooring Yamanaka to get forward himself. At this point, the crowd thought it was over, but they were not expecting to see Moreno get up with such ease. Their reaction was quite priceless. Moreno more fatigued than anything else, judging how he was moving around the ring after the knockdown, stopping Moreno 30 seconds later in that round for Yamanaka to become the lineal Bantamweight champion. Tatsuyoshi moved up from Bantamweight to Super Bantamweight to fight Mexican legend Daniel Zaragoza for his WBC title. The first being a very entertaining fight, unfortunately ending on cuts. The rematch exceeded expectations. It was an absolute war, giving the fans their money's worth. Both guys were never the same after their rematch. Tatsuyoshi had one last hurrah and became a 3-time champion, to shortly a year later to lose to Sahaprom in the most tragic way, twice. Zaragoza's next fight after the rematch was against a young Eric Morales, and he was brutally dethroned and beaten into retirement. Jones vacated his heavyweight title to cut 25 pounds of muscle to make his mandatory title defense against Antonio Tarver. Due to these events, the bigger, stronger Tarver made it an exciting, very thrilling fight to watch. You saw how clutch Jones was by finishing the fight strong, just edging Tarver on the scorecards. Many thought Jones was going to win the rematch decisively. The fight started out quite slow, Jones winning the round based off of Tarver not really landing anything, till towards the 1-minute mark of the second round. Tarver lands a punch that shook the whole division.
Jones may not get up, and he makes it up. He stops the fight. What a statement by Antonio Tarver. One big left-hand shot.
After Jones lost to Glenn Johnson just months later, he took 1 year off and got right back into fighting Tarver for a third fight. The third fight started not well for Jones, as he was using the same tactics that led him to being knocked out by Johnson, as well as showing some signs of being a bit gun-shy. He will later come out of his shell rounds 3 and 4 before letting it all go on round 5, where we all saw how a prime Roy would have looked against Antonio Tarver. After the 5th, Tarver took back control of the fight, till he hurt Jones very bad in the 11th, but accidentally punched himself out in the process. Jones with a big opportunity to turn it around and possibly stop Tarver, but he didn't follow through, resulting in Tarver to win by unanimous decision. The long-awaited rematch, living up to the first fight. Very competitive and exciting fight, but Hearns was able to get the better of Leonard. Leonard was able to mount a rally in the final round, but it did not look like it was near enough to win the fight on the cards. The fight was controversially ruled a draw. In the crowd's reaction, you can clearly tell that this decision was awful.
And so does this crowd.
This was a title elimination to fight Evander Holyfield. First fight good, second fight even better despite the early knockdowns. Ruddock was really holding his own against Tyson. Tyson just could not put the man away, and every time Tyson would let off a bit, Ruddock was right on him to make him pay. This pattern went on for the whole fight. Tyson will win by a hard unanimous decision. What makes this a good rematch was there was so much on the line historically. This fight was for the lineal and WBC light heavyweight championship, and with a Hopkins win, he would have beaten George Foreman's record of becoming the oldest world champion ever in boxing. Though there was plenty of toe-to-toe fighting, what made this truly thrilling, Hopkins had dug himself into a 4-round hole to start the fight off.
Seriously hurt. I think that's the first time in his career that I saw Bernard hurt. Agreed.
And fight fans had to painstakingly watch, slowly but surely, climb back up in the scorecards, putting on a boxing clinic, using great fundamentals, and pulling every old school trick out the book to throw Pascal's game off. Pascal had one chance to put away Hopkins late in the fight, but he couldn't pull it off. This is one of those fights that not only kept me at the edge of my seat when it first aired, but also the times I rewatched it as well. You thought I was going to include Pacquiao Marquez. Match is on. There is one detail I have to state. In the contract of the first fight, both fighters had to wear the gloves Morales and his team picked, which was winning. These gloves are not puncher's gloves. They are seen as pillows, preferably used by many boxers when they are training for fights because how well it protects the fists and their longevity. They literally last forever, where most gloves will fall apart after a couple months of heavy usage. Winning is widely known to sap the power from your punches. ESPN commentators were complaining about Naoya Inoue wearing these gloves in his fight with Maloney, stating a guy with such power should wear a more suitable glove that will complement his power rather than take it away. For their second fight, both fighters chose their preferred glove, Morales with winning and Pacquiao with Reyes. The rematch began right where it left off, but Pacquiao has a new weapon, which is the next 3 rounds would be hard-fought rounds by both guys, but Pacquiao was able to get the better of them and creep away, winning on the scorecard. This fight was for the WBC International title and title eliminator, pretty much today's WBC silver title. Pacquiao had to wait 2 years and 4 hard-fought fights later to finally get a crack at the actual WBC title. And on top of that, this is the best rematches in boxing. For more videos like these, be sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to my Patreon for early access to videos and Patreon projects. This month's project is on the tale of Miguel Cotto versus Zab Judah. I'm Alpha Sancho, and I'm out.